everyone. Happy Friday. Really excited for this discussion today with Calvin from Irex, a company that I'm really intrigued with and is doing a lot of work for good. Calvin, how are you?
I'm doing very well, man. How are you?
It's great. Well, it's Friday. We made it.
Yes.
But the life of a co founder, CEO of a startup never rests, I think. So you'll have a busy weekend. But thanks for joining. I was so intrigued by your mission of helping cities, adapt to an ever world changing landscape of threats and challenges. So, give us a little background into yourself and the genesis of the idea for Irex.
Yeah, like it's more about the company and more about the team, Ivan, as you know. So I'll keep my introduction a little bit as small as possible, which is that I come from information warfare background, like work with the DoD military side. Before we found the gig Irex, as you we spoke in the past, and you spoke with my team, and so from there, I'm an engineer myself, and obviously entrepreneurship is I feel like the backbone of American economy, so from there, once we founded Irex and eventually started working together, the idea of a company to build where the scalability is unmatched, and then we wanted to really have the theory behind the company where we build an ecosystem and infrastructure so strong that, because when you were dealing with public safety, you can't really go with an MVP or something like a good enough product, because it affects people's life, impacts society. So that's really, we had it in our mind, and that was the sort of like the concept and the ethical side of Irex. And I think you probably seen and talked to my team that we take ethics and transparency very seriously, and when it comes to artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and I want to dive into that as well. Maybe describe your solution. I mean, how do you enable a city to be smarter, get more insights, and protect its citizens at the end of the day?
Yeah, so the idea is that basically one of the first things that we do is that we tell our end users that, hey, first of all, you should work with multiple different companies, not just Irex, not just like, one company and all that. So what we do is like we go into like these large cities and these smaller cities and etc., and or multiple cities, and we connect to their existing infrastructure, all their IoT sensors. And what Irex is, an invisible air that connects everything in real time and gives that real time situational awareness to the operator. So the idea is that if something is happening, you should know it right there. And the average real time alert takes about zero point 0.4 seconds. So uh, that's the concept we keep in mind. We connect with existing IoT sensors, and from there, we create this enhanced situational awareness. For example, if it's one city, two cities, entire county, like 32 cities with some of the clients we're doing, something we're doing like in South America where we're doing a national deployment. So, meaning multiple airports getting connected and all that. And with the cloud computing and encryption, we keep the data secure and have a real-time communication system, even if network goes down and etc. Like those kind of things we take over.
So, cities are a complex environment. You've got, gosh, pretty much every technology under the sun. Where do you start and how do you tie this together while making the information and insights presented in a smarter fashion through AI? I mean, it's a big challenge.
Yes, it is, and you're absolutely right. Because even in the most developed cities and most developed states in America, even like you will find like cities that have an infrastructure that is way behind. If you know what I mean, like some of their. So from that perspective, we had to make our algorithms and so efficient that we will not require high level GPUs, and you can work on the CPUs level. So the way we first of all do is we never have access to our clients' systems. What we have access to their streams of their system, the signals of those devices. That's the one ethical layer we create, because we never want to be owning their data. We never want to be interfering in their day-to-day operation, because the way New York runs is way different than how Seattle will do it, how would Florida
Mhm.
will do it, how would California would do it. So that's something we keep in very much mind. Then we compute all that into Irex own cloud, encrypted cloud, and it's a private cloud that we built for just for that customer. And then from there, we run all of our analytics, all of our deep learning and behavior learning patterns into the cloud. And that's the idea. Is essentially we keep everything wireless. We actually have really good case studies where how we have saved on an average of 60% of a project budget. So if you think about somebody putting fiber optics and connecting all these NVRs and all that, that's a very labor intensive work. But when you talking about cloud computing and taking everything to cloud, I think that's where the scalability factor comes in. That's where keeping the cost of the project low comes in. So that's the idea essentially.
Well, that's fascinating. And let's talk about real world use cases. I mean, there's so many applications you're involved with. What would be the top few that really cities are asking for to solve their most urgent and pressing challenges?
Yeah, on top of my head, because we've been having this conversation recently. I mean, as a father, the mass shootings in our schools, so that has been on top of people's minds. So I'm being invited into different sheriff association calls to educate them how technology can help in the public safety, chief of polices, and the cities. And we have a lot of good leaders, community leaders that actually raising these questions of how to protect our kids into these active shooting or mass shooting incidents. So that's one of the things, one of the top one. Other than that, we're talking about people jumping on rail track to commit suicide, to basically a non-compliant sex offender, to car crashes, and etc. So I think if people go on a website, they will see that we have over almost 30 AI modules that will be working at the same time in order to give this situational awareness from child abduction, from active shooting, gang violence, somebody breaking stuff, glass break, and and etc. to car crashes and near misses and all that. So, and that's another thing I wanted to really, really clarify, that Irex is not like a product or essentially a platform. We're more of an
Mhm.
ecosystem, and an ecosystem where we have multiple different AI modules working at the same time to give this sort of enhanced situational awareness using clients' existing infrastructure. And we do this as a big data engine. So if there's 10,000 sensors or 100,000 sensors or 1 million sensors, right now, we're the only company that can do that. And that's the idea about getting the differentiation out there, that hey, if you have a city, for example, I won't tell you the name of the agency, but they're like people that commit really, really harmful crimes into one city, and then they run to like the another city. Right now there is no
Mm.
system that connects all that. And if you look at a
Wow.
big state like New York or California, which takes like about 12 hours to go north and south, right? So coming from top to down, what if a highway patrol agency would know, oh, this red car hit this school bus in, for example, in San Francisco, and now it's in San Diego, right? So that kind of information, having it in zero point 0.4 seconds, that's never been done before, basically.
That is just phenomenal, and there are so many threats and challenges out there. Tell me more about the use case around child abduction and you know protecting children in schools. I mean, that seems so relevant and meaningful. What's your sort of approach there?
Yeah, thank you for bringing that up. So, it's a touchy subject, and it's my personal mission, and it's our company's mission to protect our children, basically from every aspect. So we have invested a very mass amount of engineering hours and money to just on a dedication of protecting children. And one of them part is from the essentially is, as you know, child abduction or any type of human and child trafficking aspect. And I want you to know, and I think you already knew this before when we jumped on this interview, that we don't charge anything on this application. It's 100% free.
Okay.
We tell agencies, every agencies, to, hey, please use it, because this is something we want everyone to be like using it. So if there's a child get abducted, or right now, for example, you will get a Amber Alert. I'm pretty sure everyone know what that is.
Sure.
But imagine if that the red Bronco could be seen in zero point 0.4 seconds, like with 7-Eleven, it's refueling at, right? Which Walmart the abductor is taking the child because they have to buy them new clothes, food, without any
Mm.
getting any attention out of it. If they would know, and then you confirm this is the child that was abducted in, let's say, in Orlando, Florida, and now you're seeing them in Miami by the port, like that kind of information, like that's like a parent's dream. Now attach that to like sensitive subject like child pornography, or earlier, as I mentioned, mass shootings, where all the technologies out there. I'm not saying technology is the only solution. I'm saying, but technology helps
Mhm.
in all these to solve this. I'm not saying it will fix everything, but uh, for example, a lot of people don't know this, that homeland agents have to watch certain amount of child pornography to actually spot the victim and these
Boy.
bad people. Basically, there's I'm choosing a different word. I had a different word in my mind,
Mm.
but and think of, and we don't realize this, but these agents have families, and there's 100%, I'm not 100% record of PTSD for these
Mm.
agencies agents, because no good human being could be keep working in the environment, if you know what I mean. So think about an AI that can take away all the stress from these agents and give them a timestamp of victim, and search through the dark web and do all this type of situational awareness and find the victim and these bad people. And moving on to the final one, which is the final example in this conversation, is the school shootings, where studies have shown that every a second of response time saves up to thousands lives. So if you have a second ad, you can save to 1,000 in a mass shooting incidents and etc. And the idea from there is that if somebody pulls a gun out in a parking lot or anything like that, Irex, working with the IoT sensors, allows to close door itself. In zero point 0.5 second, the SRO will get the alert. Okay, this student has been expelled or anything like that. Or this student doesn't even go there. The sheriff and the chief of police get the information. And is it one shooter or two shooter? Is it a handgun or a rifle? That information for that responding police officer, that's a life and death information. So just putting these top three examples into the idea of like what Irex is doing to, I like to think, like make this world a better place for the next generation, for the leaders of tomorrow. I think that's the role we're playing. And again, like I said, uh, it's 100% free to use this part of the technology. We don't make any money out of it, and that's the idea here.
Oh, that's so amazing. Thanks for what you're doing. And you talk a lot about governance and the ethical use of AI and surveillance. Surveillance has a lot of negative implications for obvious reasons, personal privacy and freedom. And we see what's happening in China and other places, and we don't want that, but we do want to use the technology for good. So how do you balance that and develop a framework for ethical use of AI?
Excellent question. Well, first we do is we change the word surveillance. We change the word to, actually, we literally have changed the word. We have trademark on search villains. What it means is basically you're searching for what you're looking for. Surveillance is like, I'm watching everything every time.
Hmm.
I mean, I don't even need to tell you. Average American with just the word Big Brother comes right away. So that's the idea. So what we do is we call it search villains. It's like it's only looking for what you're searching for. So in old days, a police officer would show the child's picture that, hey, have you seen this kid? Because I'm
Hmm.
looking for this child. Now the AI, you can describe the child's height, child's last like color of the clothing, like their features, their appearances, and all
Wow.
that. And it just start matching that object to basically in real time, essentially. So the question of ethics that it comes in, and this is not just changing the word search villains, we also have brought in new terminologies, which is transparency by design. So our architecture is literally built for transparency. What I mean by that, obviously we're not naive that the societal impact of our technology could be very high. So we really had a conversation, and our ethics and compliance teams, and we all sat around the table and say, okay, how do we shouldn't be hiding from ethics and compliance part. We should be heading on to it. We should be taking we should take that as our differentiator, instead of a lot of companies want to create good enough technology MVP and they want to make their sales and all that. We're saying no, we've got to lean into this. Like this is a real thing. People's worries are there. So one of the things we did is, like, the idea is that we cannot take prejudice out of people's heart, but what we can do is bring everything out, hence the word transparency by design. What does that mean by that? It means that if there is a agency, or if there is a school district, or there's a federal government, or anything that they're using any shape or form Irex and that they shouldn't be using, guess what? They can never delete that. Irex is a 100% auditable platform. So what it does, it allows them to see, hey, Calvin did X, Y, and Z, and these are the things Calvin did X, Y, and Z. Now, we just didn't want to say that, hey, this is the accountability to the user. Yes. But on top of that, we also say that, hey, how our algorithms make decisions. We show them that. This is not much of a black box kind of conversation. So those are the impact from both sides, to keep our first responders also like take that sort of like the blame away from them, so they can do their job and keep the accountability on them. But at the same time, the public, so there's a huge lack of trust into the government, and say, okay, we don't trust X, Y, and Z people, but if there is an ethical AI between a bridge, so they will be start trusting. So we're playing as a bridge between the public and the agency, essentially.
All right. Well, that's a fantastic approach. So you're a technologist, obviously, and a very sophisticated uh, user of technology, thought leader. But some of those agencies, state, local, even federal, aren't exactly at the cutting edge or leading edge of adopting technology like yours. How are they receiving this message, and are they able to kind of embrace what you're doing and deploy it in reality?
Well, first of all, you said it. I didn't. That they're not ready and all
Okay.
that. So, no, I think everyone knows it.
They're
That yeah,
slow. They're slow.
yeah,
They move at a different pace than a
different
tech
pace.
startup,
Yes,
let's say. Yeah.
or else they won't call government, right? So yeah, absolutely. So the idea is that you're absolutely right. First of all, that a lot of these government agencies, state and local, school district, federal, they have a speed that they move with. So that's where the idea that we came with, like, we create an ecosystem, and we believe in so much that it's a more like an educational part that comes with it. You got to educate the procurement people that, hey, how this what you're buying is basically is a repackaged version of a 10-year-old technology. You know what I mean? Like, so uh, what you're buying is not going to save you money, because in 3 years you have to spend this money again and all that. So
Hmm.
once we run them through the economic cycle, that how you could save up to 60% of your overall budget, when we run them through that, how you don't have to rip out your 20-year-old ecosystem or infrastructure and hardware, you can actually add another 100 year to their lives. And when we the third part is how the communication works, how the system flows information with the privacy, with the ethics, and how they will own their data, essentially, because there's no other tech companies in America will tell you that, hey, we don't need your data, but we tell you our clients owns their own data. So when we do all that, like, and it is an uphill battle, I'm not gonna lie to you, but when we find these champions with the leaders, is, oh, I want to be part of this next version of technology, next version of public safety. And yes, it's an educational journey for us, that we have to educate the market that how we are changing the face of public safety, because a lot of other companies, they're leasing their hardware, they're leasing keeping the data and etc. So we're like, no, we gotta We got to walk away from that part. We want our clients to own everything. We just like a provider that connects everything and give them this free AI modules to work on it on top of that.
Wow, what a great model, and so needed. I mean, we saw every city, most cities, big and small, are going through challenges through the pandemic, increases in certain types of crimes and homelessness, and lots of changes out there. Um, are you seeing an impact yet with the adoption of your technology, and how soon can we get some good data behind us on how you're helping?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we have agencies that are already using. We're helping our homeless community too. A lot of people don't
Hmm.
realize that, like the way the funds get approved to help our homeless community is on data. However, a data cannot be a bill, or a data cannot be that Roger saw five homeless people around the mall and that's about it. No. So we have to again be that ethical bridge between the public and in the government. What I mean by that is that there are businesses that where they want the, hey, how our tax dollars are going to help this homeless community, but nothing is helping. And so with Irex, we actually monitors, and we actually can give them a very like concrete evidence of the migration of homelessness. So which city is getting migration at what rate, and that's where the
Wow.
city level, the city council level, they can see that, okay, these are the area we need to spend money on. We're spending money here, here, and here. So it allows that sort of almost like a situational awareness on your own, like cities budgets and all that. So that's how also, and it's a passionate approach towards our homeless community. And at the same time, we want to help our small businesses too, because small businesses are the, during the pandemic, during the riots and looting, as you saw that uh, those are the one that hurt the most. And so having for them an ethical AI to monitor, so they don't have to hire security guards, so they don't have to
Mm.
basically like hire all the other things that they need to do. And it's de-escalate the whole situation between the community, the business owner, and the government. Essentially, I'll give you a very good example of it.
Sure.
That we forget about all this during pandemic. I think we overlook the mental stress it takes on, and people with mental disability. We overlook sometimes that community, and I think homeless community also kind of overlap with mental disability and etc. So we have some local police officers that actually deals with their regular offenders. So we had an individual who essentially had mental disability. However, in his mind, he's essentially 8 year old. However, it's a full grown, like a 30-year-old man. Now, if you're a police officer who's new at a job or anything like that, you see that, that's right away, you know, you will have a very intense response to that. However, what Irex does is it helps our mental disability community by making it more a community approach, because RX identified this individual, and now as a police officer, you don't have to go in as full alert and anything like that. You can go in, ask them, get the guardian, and walk the individual out, and they're all nonviolent. It's just sometimes it's harder to visually see a mental disability. And when we have these around school areas, these communities, RX is very good at that. Again, being the ethical bridge between a passionate approach towards our, protecting our community and our first responders. Because when they're responding to these calls, or they see a grown man playing in a playground with a bunch of kids, and that's where they go, okay, oh, we know this is Bubba, we could help him to get to the house, all right, let's go, buddy. And that's the kind of idea we had. We had the same thing in colleges where kids were playing with BB gun. Like, I'm calling them
Mm.
kids, they were in 20s, you know. I was in college, I don't know about you, I did a
That
lot
was
of dumb
me.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shenanigans. Yeah.
Yes. So they were playing with BB guns. Now I don't need to tell you that when from a distance, some of these BB guns are very much look like real guns. And once we identified that okay, in zero point 0.4 second, there was no lockdowns, there was no like, and again, the response wasn't like a SWAT was called or anything like that, and all that. It was more like the the community, the college campus police just knock down their dome and say, "Hey, knock it off! Don't do that next time," because because they have all this information in real time on their tablets, on their patrol cars, on their cell phones, and all that through Irex. So that's where the whole, going back to your question about how are we handling these smaller, bigger communities and putting the AI in between them. So I think our goal is to be that ethical bridge between community and government, essentially.
So powerful and so meaningful. And wow, you have your work cut out for you. Plenty of communities to serve here in the U.S. Are you looking at international customers and cities and countries as well?
Well, it's funny enough, we are an American company, and majority of our success is actually outside United States.
Oh wow,
And
no kidding.
yeah, and I think so. I grew up in UK too. So the idea is that and this is just something my personal experience. I think the adaptation to technology is much the barrier to entry of the adaptation is much lower in UK and Europe and in these developed countries than America, because in America every state make their own like rules and etc. and their laws on data privacy, data retention, and etc. So, but last 1 year, yes, we've been rolling up and down in America. Like I just like great show like yours. Like we get invited everywhere to demonstrate, and we have really, really good leaders who believe during election year, who believed in public safety, smart city efforts with us, and yeah, they've been championing Irex that this is what we need. We need something that is ethical. We need something that protect our data, our rights, and give us the public safety, because no one ever has said that, oh, I need less public safety. No one has ever said that. And one more point
Well,
on
I
these
love the approach. I mean, you got
yeah,
companies like Amazon with Ring who are, I'm a customer and they're doing good things, but there are always question marks about how that data is being used, and it's a bit of a black box. So well done on that. And anything you're looking forward to over the next few weeks and months? Any events or other travel that you're planning?
yeah. So I was gonna say we have a work cut out for us, because some of these developing countries we getting really good success because they going straight to 5G and they have straight to wireless. Because we had all the infrastructure laid out, and sometimes when you have less infrastructure and you building to a level, like it's ridiculous how fast these countries are moving. So we're doing bunch of like national deployments where we are connecting different airports and to the bus stations and like bus stops and etc. So the whole transportation side of it we're connecting. So yeah, I've been traveling up and down in South America, deploying Irex. Essentially gotta show my face sometimes, even
Hmm.
though my team does all work. I'm just like a pretty face just to go there and all that. But sometimes you gotta go there, and I have a great team that has been amazing. And the fact is that all of our algorithms are in house. That just itself is a badge of honor, that we build everything in house. We put things together. We believe in our end user to not vendor locking them. So you keep buying more stuff, keep adding more hardware, whatever you want to do. We integrate with everything, and that's the idea of a sort of like a community-driven AI and ethical AI.
That's wonderful. Well, I know you're in San Diego. I won't ask if San Diego is using your technology, but it would be wonderful to take a great city like San Diego and make it even more safe, more secure, more seamless, leveraging AI and IoT and other technologies like clouds. So keep up the great
Yes, sir.
work.
Yeah, no, we have really good leaders in San Diego County. A bunch of different cities. As you know, San Diego is not small. A bunch of different cities in the county of San Diego, from the mayors, from the superintendents, from the chiefs of police. So actually, and it's just a coincidence that me being from San Diego and it's a very pro technology
Mm.
county. They are very progressive on their rights. They are very progressive on technology. A lot of people don't know this, but the first body cam and drone for law enforcement was driven from the county of San Diego in
Oh
America.
wow, I
So
did not know
yeah,
that. So they should be a
yes,
good partner for you and hopefully a showcase for the rest of the country and world. I hope that happens. I hope get some great companies listening like Qualcomm, and maybe the city of Boston here
Yes,
is
sir.
listening, and we'll spread the word. But so thanks so much, Calvin, for joining, and congrats on the mission. Congrats on tech for good and responsible AI, and onwards and upwards.
Thank you, and thank you for having us. And we can always use friends like yourself who help us spread our message and our mission. Because end of the day, uh, this is where we show and demonstrate out of how AI and human race can work together. Because we want AI to work for us. I don't think anyone would like other way around. So we want to make sure that
Yeah, and
AI.
it's good to see a meaningful uses of AI beyond Chat GPT. So let's more of
Yeah,
this. Okay,
sir.
awesome. Well,
Yes,
thanks
sir.
so much. Thanks for watching, everyone. Happy Friday, happy weekend, and until next time, check
Thank
out.
you. Take care.